Friends, welcome to our channel. Okay, today we are going to continue our topic transportation, the circulatory system. Before video we discussed about the lymphatic system and edema. What is edema means? The swelling occurs for the old age people when they sit in a place for a longer time. That situation is called as edema. Now let us discuss about the steps to control edema. Okay. Steps to control the edema. This is particularly for adults, for old people who travel for a long distances, a long journey. Okay. First of all, what is edema and how edema occurs means when the old age people journey for a long trip or for a long time, they sit in the only one place. They cannot easy to move from one place to another. They cannot move. They will sit at only one place. Then the intercellular spaces, as I discussed in the lymphatic system, filled with lymph. So the lymphatic system does not works. The accumulation of WC also does not happens, and the lymph also stored in that lymphatic system. The excess amount of fluid cannot go into to venous system. All the lymph stored in the intercellular spaces, and it causes to edema. Now steps to control edema. It should not sit in a one position for longer time. Okay, not sit in a position. So not sitting in a position for a longer time. While sitting in the position for a longer time, then the lymphatic system does not works. No pressure exerted to the muscles in our legs. Okay. Now, preferring train journeys instead of bus journeys. Preferring train journeys. So for long journeys we prefer bus journeys, but instead of bus we should better to prefer train journeys. So in train journeys, what happens for long distances? We can sleep or we can move in our coach, which is allotted for us. And if any place is there, we have to. It is when train stops for a longer time, it's better to walk in the platform. So it happens in train journeys, but in the bus journey, it is not possible. Okay, we should better to prefer train journeys. Now, what is the third step? Massage at the affected areas. Area and apply the film pressure. Massage at the affected area and apply the film pressure. So while swelling occurs in one place, we should have to apply the pressure on our legs. While applying pressure on our legs, the lymphatic system starts working. So it controls the edema. Okay. Now, better to walk between the bus, or better to stand in the bus or walk. Sometimes prefer to walk between in the bus. Okay, it's better to walk between in the bus. So we should so it applies the pressure on our legs and the lymphatic system again starts working. Now, these are the 4 important steps. First of all, not sit in a position for longer time, prefer train journeys, massage at the affected areas and apply the film pressure. Better to walk between in the bus. Now avoid hot baths. Avoid hot bath. So while swelling occurs, it sweats more, and while again bathing with hot baths, it affects more swelling occurs than previous when we prefer hot baths. Now it's better to prefer normal or cool bath. Okay. Now better to avoid salt in the diet. Better to not take the salts. So in our diet it's better not to take salts. What happens when the salts occur? It increases the water percentage. The swelling also does not stop. So better to avoid the salts. It is not a compulsory action, but these four or five, when we traveling for long journeys, these 4 or 5 is very helpful. These are the steps to control edema. Now let us see one more important topic called blood pressure. Okay, one more important topic, blood pressure. Now we will discuss about blood pressure, simply called as BP. Now how the blood pressure occurs, let us discuss. So heart transports blood to arteries, right? And arteries transports blood to each and every cell. Heart transports blood to arteries, and blood transports arteries from each and every cell. Now which chambers are transporting blood from blood to arteries means ventricles. We all know that, we all discussed in the previous videos also. Veins means auricles, arteries means ventricles. So while ventricles are transporting blood to arteries, it exerts more pressure, that is called as blood pressure and BP. Okay, when the ventricles are transporting the blood to the arteries, they exerts more pressure, the pressure increases, we call it as BP or blood pressure. Okay, while blood transports from ventricles, it exerts heavy force is increases, so pressure also increases when blood is transferring from ventricles to arteries. So we simply call as BP. Okay, now doctors measure this BP using a device called sphygmomanometer. Okay, doctors usually measure the BP using a device called sphygmomanometer, and the blood pressure is usually measured in the upper arm artery. Okay, in the upper arm artery we are usually measuring the blood pressure. Why? Because in upper arm artery the blood pressure of different organs in the human beings are different, so it's better and it's compulsory to measure in one specific organ, which we are measuring in the upper arm cavity, and check blood pressure in different period of times. We are usually checking a blood pressure in different period of times in the upper arm artery. Okay, and we are measuring in the upper arm artery. Okay, so BP is different from is two types, which is called systolic pressure and diastolic pressure, which we are going to discuss. Before that, how the systolic pressure and how the diastolic pressure occurs, let us discuss. See, these are the 4 chambers, we all know that. Right auricle, left auricle, right ventricle and left ventricle. Okay, these are the 4 chambers of heart, we all know that. Now during the ventricular contraction, the blood flows from the ventricles to auricles with high pressure. This is called as systolic pressure. It is 120 mmHg systolic pressure when the blood is moving from ventricle to auricle during ventricular contraction. heavy pressure is exerted, which is called as systolic pressure, and arteries are being filled with blood. Now, what happens when the ventricles are relaxing, the auricles are contracting and sending blood to ventricles, which exerts low pressure. With low pressure, it is called as diastolic pressure. It is 80 mm per Hg. Okay, this is systolic pressure and diastolic pressure. Usually the normal BP is 120 by 80. So 120 by 80 is a normal blood pressure of human beings. Is 120 is systolic pressure and 80 is a diastolic pressure. Okay, we discussed now only. Yeah. Okay, what happens when the systolic pressure is higher than 120? Okay, 120. The persons who has BP at the resting position. These are the resting positions. Systolic pressure and diastolic pressure is a normal at the resting positions. When this is increases, we call the person as hypertension persons or high BP. We say that. So when it is high BP, means more than 120, we call person as hypertension. When it is low BP, we call the person as hypotension, which is when the diastolic pressure is less than 80, we call the person as low BP person or hypotension person. Okay, this is about blood pressure. Let us discuss after topic in the next video. Thanks for watching, and let's meet in the next video. Please like and share, subscribe our channel, and like the video and share it to your friends or family members. Thank you. Let's meet in the next video.